What's up, guys? My name is Destiny. I am a licensed speech language pathologist, which is also known as an SLP. I take videos from the internet and analyze them from an SLP's perspective. So today we have a really fun one. We have Tweety Bird. Everyone loves Tweety and everyone loves making fun of her speech. We all know that she has something going on, but today I'm going to talk about what exactly she has going on. So let's take a look at the video.
Tweety's my name, but I don't know my age. I don't have to worry, and that is that. I'm safe in here from that.
So what I'm noticing is that she has something going on with the S. It's not, she's not doing the S's correctly. She's kind of putting T's for S's. So that kind of tells me that there's something going on specifically with that sound, but I don't know exactly what is going on, but I know she's replacing S with a T.
Oh, putty cat.
Just a side note, I love how Sylvester is a cat and can open doors and write. I love the Looney Tunes. It's so funny. They give human characteristics to animals and they seem to have total reign over humanity.
What's this? A letter for me? I'm just mad about your singing. Come over and we'll make beautiful music together. Your ardent admirer, room 1002. Well, what do you know? I got an admirer.
So the first thing I noticed is that she said a weta for me. That's definitely an error that I would note down. I love this video because it has a written form that we can look at, and that is really great from an SLP's perspective because we can compare the actual words and letters with what she's actually saying. So I was able to look at what she's expected to say, how I would say it as an adult or someone who doesn't have any errors, and then compare her speech to that. So she had the wetter, it's for letter, and then as she was continuing to read down the letter, I heard that she said the S correctly here in multiple words. So just and sinking, she said that correctly. Later on in the letter, she did an L correctly and beautiful. She also said wheel correctly as well. So what I'm noticing is that Tweety has inconsistent errors. Earlier in the video, she said putty cat instead of pussycat, so she couldn't say the S correctly there. And then later in the video, she said the S correctly. There's an inconsistency there that is not typical of what I would call an articulation disorder. If you watch the previous video where I analyzed Jimmy Jr.'s speech, he had what I would call a true articulation error. So he had specific sounds that he was doing incorrectly every time. Tweety does not have that. She probably has what I would call a phonological processing disorder. So she's using phonological processes. These are patterns of speech sound errors that typically children show as they're developing language. Usually when they're a baby, they're not quite mature yet. They can't say the words correctly, so they come up with these habits or patterns that make the sounds easier to say. As they get older, it gets better and better and they sound more adult-like. She has a few phonological processes that we'll keep listening in for, and then I'll talk about them at the end just to make sure that I'm on the right track.
I wonder who it could be. I thought I saw a putty cat. I did saw a putty cat.
Here, what's going on here?
Oh! Help! Please! Help!
I'm sorry, ma'am. I beg your pardon.
All right, that's hilarious. I love the Looney Tunes. So later on in the video, she said, I thought I saw a putty cat. So there she was saying the S incorrectly again. So she absolutely has that phonological process. This is a process that's called stopping. An S is what we call a strident or a continuant. When you do the S sound, you continue that sound. It flows out of your mouth. When you stop that sound, it sounds like a T. So S and T are produced in the same area in your mouth. The only difference is that one flows and one stops. So instead of doing S, she does T. I thought I taw a putty cat. So she's stopping that sound. The other thing that I pointed out earlier in the video is that she said wetter for letter. So she was replacing the L with a W. That's another phonological process. Sometimes you'll see it on the L or the R sound. And that process is called gliding. So you replace the L or the R with a W. What would I as an SLP do to help Tweety's errors? If you saw my Jimmy Jr. video, I'll link it below because I talk about how we could address an articulation disorder. Some of the way that we would treat it would be like an articulation disorder, which is to draw attention to the sounds and then correct the error by giving different placement cues and things like that. I won't spend too much time on that because I've already talked about it. But for a phonological processing disorder, I would look for places where she says the sounds correctly because typically this is a habit. And so there are places where they say it correctly and where they don't. I would draw attention to the places where they say the sound exactly correct. And then I would bring attention to the places where they don't say it correctly. So with Tweety, she was saying singing correctly, the S in singing correctly, but she wasn't saying the S in saw correctly. So I would take that sound and say, hey, you say singing s with a good S. Let's do that same good S in saw. And we would practice that sound and hopefully she would be able to pick up on that fairly quickly. And with the children that I work with, they tend to. So I really enjoyed doing this video. I love the Looney Tunes. I love Tweety. Everyone loves making fun of her. And now you know exactly what she's doing wrong. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel so that you can get more videos like this, more content like this, and maybe one day you'll become a speech therapist just like me.